What is up, friends?
Hey guys!
We are now shooting episode 2 of RNB.
It's a yeet.
So, with the success of episode 1, we thought nobody was going to listen if we're being real.
Dead fucking ass. I was like, yeah, I mean, maybe we'll get like 5 plays, 5 views. I'm like, the response that we have received has been overwhelming. It's not anything crazy, but I just honestly did not think anyone gave a shit.
We thought we were going to be talking on these mics to our own damn self. Like,
yeah, which was fine.
Yeah, for sure. In all honesty, we were doing this for us, but we were like, hey, maybe nobody's going to fuck with us, and maybe they do, maybe they don't.
I was like, is this even good enough for people to see?
And now that we actually did it, we're just, yeet, we are ready for episode 2. The energy is on, and we are motherfucking ready.
Yeah, thanks guys for the great feedback that we got on our first video, our first podcast. We really appreciate it. And we're really excited to create more content.
And for all of you guys who watched and didn't reach out, fucking let us know. We're doing this for you guys, so make sure that you are giving us the feedback, commenting. My DMs were dry as fuck.
I know. Slide into my DMs. Come on, let's do it.
Like, if we're posting, asking for questions, it's because we want to make sure that we are giving you guys what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. So please, make sure that you reach out and let us know, you know? We are here for you. Hey, guys.
So you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, you might see a couple little critters running around, you know, a couple little doggies. I have no fucking clue whose dogs these are. I just have my front door open and he's about to knock my coffee over. Just kidding.
They are our new co-hosts. We decided to not lock them outside of the room because they're annoying as fuck. So, you know, if you can't beat them, join them.
So if you're on YouTube, this is Gatsby. Ooh.
And he's out.
He said, oh, hell no.
He said,
Skr.
But we are ready to get the episode started. During this episode, we are going to be talking about tipping in the service industry because
Should you tip your server or not?
Like, when you go out to eat, do you feel like you need to tip? Or do you feel like, hey, I'm fucking here, and they're doing their job, and this is what they're supposed to be doing. And
or that you can't afford to tip. My dude, then you can't afford to eat out.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Yes. So let's just start there. When you go out to eat at a restaurant, it is a luxury. You are deciding, hey, I have no money in my account. I want to treat my family. We be eating McDonald's all week.
Or friends, whatever.
Yeah, we be eating McDonald's all week, and I'm tired of the fucking dollar menu. It's time for me to get a steak.
Tired of those fucking fake-ass chicken nuggets, goddamn!
But when you decide to go out to eat, you have to keep in mind that there are people there that have to survive, and that they're serving you and making sure that you don't have to wash your own dishes. You don't have to cook your own food. You don't have to clean up after yourself. You fucking throw shit whatever you want, and we have to clean it up.
You don't have to touch a plate. Like, nothing. And not saying that bad service deserves a good tip. That's definitely not what we're saying. But when people... Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. Skr. So we are both servers.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've been servers for a while now.
A long.
He's been a lot more than me, but I've been in service industry for a long time. And so we just know what it's like to be in it and not be in it, and we're not expecting at like more than 20%.
Yeah, for sure.
You know
But I mean, at the same time, we both work at different restaurants. She works at somewhere a little bit more bougie, you know, where you drink, you know, champagne with your pinky up. I'm more of at like a chill spot. We're not going to say the places just because we want to keep the, you know, keep our personal shit personal. But at the place where I am, it's a very casual place. You come in, you sit, you dine, you eat. I work at a theme park, so it's very high quantity. So in terms of like me as a server, I approach the table like you are at my house. I'm like, I'm not there to fucking be your servant, your maid. Yeah. I'm there to like treat you like you one of my boys. Like,
that's what they tell us.
Yeah, like, for sure.
You know, when you're like in training, they're like, treat your tables how you would treat your family or your friends, and that's really what we try to do. And you have to just understand that we're doing a service for you, but we're still people. Like, you should still treat us like a person and not be snapping your fingers at us or waving. Yes. Oh my god, I hate that. Or waving us over. I'm like, I have a name, and I tell you my name, and I think at your restaurant, do you wear name tags?
Yeah, we wear name tags.
So it's like, you don't really have an excuse not to, and if you forgot my name, you can ask, do not snap your fucking fingers at me.
And when I approach the table and I'm like, hey, yo, my name is Robert, I'll be taking care of you today. You need to, like, respond. The thing is that people forget is that when you are going out to eat, you're still a normal fucking person interacting with a normal person.
We're not your slaves.
So say you're having a normal conversation and you're like, hey, my name is Robert, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. You don't answer with, can you give me a tea?
Oh my god, that is the worst. When I walk up to my table and I'm just about to say hello, and they're like, can you get me a drink? I'm like,
you don't even know who I am. You don't know my name. I haven't had a good time to say shit. You don't know any specials. Like, and in the normal circumstances of life, you don't do that to people. You don't interrupt them. You're not rude. But the fact that somebody's coming up to you and they're serving you, I hate the name serving, to be honest, because like just the idea of serving,
it's like a negative connotation.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this person's here for me, and if I'm not here, then they're not.
Like I think. This is like totally getting off the topic of tipping, but I feel like when people come in to dine, they expect you to do anything they say, even if it's not something that even pertains to your job.
Oh my god. They're like, my kid just took a shit. Can you wipe their ass for me?
Can you wipe it? Or they'll be like, oh, so like I need to go somewhere after this. Can you like call the place for me? I'm like,
they're like, can you check in for my fucking reservation? Because
God.
I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So
can you rub my feet?
Back to like the whole tipping thing. We're gonna bring it back. We're gonna hold it back in. I don't expect to be tipped for bad service. So I totally understand going out and being like, hey, I feel like what you did was not up to par, and I'm tipping you based on that. That makes a lot of sense. So don't get me wrong. I'm a human. I fuck up. I may make mistakes. So if I'm like, oh, hey, I forgot to ring in your drink, and I bring it late, hey, I'm in my mind, I'm like, this person's not going to tip me. And I can't be mad at
least
that
you acknowledge that it was a mistake.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes, like, if I'm out dining and my server forgets something, I don't mind. Like, unless it's like a consistent thing where it's like you forgot everything that I asked you, and like you got the order completely wrong. Then maybe like I'll be like, okay, well you just obviously don't care. But even when I get bad service, my tip still isn't bad.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because I still consider the fact that like servers work for like minimum wage. Like what I don't even know what it is, like $4 or $5 to me, but like.
And then at the same time, I already know what's going through some of your guys' head. Why are you working that job then? Why are you working minimum wage? I didn't tell you to work there. I didn't tell you that you have to work for minimum wage. There's plenty of jobs where you can get the hourly. The part that I don't like is that people think that because we're servers that we're begging. Nigga, I'm not begging you for fucking shit.
There's sometimes where tables come in and they're super rude to me. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, I don't give a fuck if you tip me. I actually don't want your money, so I'm just doing this for you to be able to eat, but like after you can just go. Like you don't have to, I'm not struggling.
The statement that we're trying to put out there is that we as servers make really great money. So the whole idea of like, oh, you're serving, you're below me, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it depends where you go to, because we work at high volume places, but there's places like Denny's and like Perkins and stuff that people work where they're making like $3 or $4.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm tipping them even more because the type of clientele that goes into there is shit.
It's shit.
And you're putting up with shit and you're working long ass hours. Like, just put yourself in that position. It's a hard ass job.
Serving is not easy. Like, you go through so much stress in one shift and so much like anxiety, like when your food's not coming out or you just got like triple sat. Like, it's a very, like, high-stress job, and you have to consider that, like, these people are on their feet for hours, and, like, bringing plates of food out is not easy. Like, those shits are heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
They're heavy, and they're hot, and you're burning yourself. I'm like, come on, guys.
And then...
There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes,
Yeah. And I'm not crying. Don't get me wrong. I'm not crying. But at the same time... At the same time, I'm like... For common sense purposes, this person is dealing with your food. They're touching your food. They're bringing it out.
God.
Like, this is what you eat.
He's getting into some territory.
Like, I personally would never do anything to somebody's food because that's fucked up, and I would want nobody to do that to me.
Crazy.
But at the same time, like, the fact that it's a possibility and I have the option because your food is coming from me, like, you would think that you will want to be super nice to the motherfucker who is in charge of what's going into your body.
Like, not even saying that, oh, you should, like, be fake and kiss their ass just to make sure they don't spit in your food. We're not saying that at all. But just have some respect, you know? Like, it's not an easy job, and they have to deal with a lot of people. We have to deal with a lot of people. So just be kind. That's it. Like, all we're asking for is, like, kindness and just, like, mutual respect. Just treat me like I'm an actual person. I'm not a robot. But anyways, I wanted to, like, tell a little story about, like, bad service.
Yeah, that's it.
So it was at, should I even say where it was at? It was that one time that we went for a hot pot.
Oh, when you had to shit yourself? Oh, it was a good time. It was a fucking good time.
That was not where I was going with this. Woo, he tried it. Okay. So we were going to this hot pot restaurant, and if you guys don't know what hot pot is, it's some like Asian restaurant where they give you like a pot of boiling liquid with like, it's like broth or whatever, but then you give like raw ingredients and you like cook your own food. It sounds like really gross.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but like, so we went to this place, and it was like they were having some special that day because it was like their 1 year anniversary, something like that. So everything on the menu was like $1 or something like that, like all the different ingredients. And so we went there, and it was packed. Like, I think we waited over an hour for a table. For sure. Over an hour. When we got there,
wait, let's just pause right there. Whenever we're on an hour wait, or a restaurant's on an hour wait, you cannot be mad at the restaurant or the server. I've had people get mad, oh, I've been waiting for an hour and blah, blah, blah. Once you sit down at the table, you're there. I've been working for that hour, so I don't have time to hear about you bitch about the wait. There's waits for everything in life.
You didn't have to wait.
Yeah, for sure. So,
they told you how long it was going to be.
We're just saying that that's a reason why people would give us attitude. But anyway, continue back to the story. We were on an hour wait.
It was like an hour or something. We had gone to a bar close to it, and then we came back whenever it was time for our reservation, and we finally got seated, and we're starving at this point, and no one comes over to the table. No one. And it had been like 10 minutes, and we see this like one guy like walking around. I'm like, is that our server? And we keep trying to get his attention, and like I think at one point we were like waving him like to be like, hey, like do you see me? Like, we didn't know what to do because like no one was coming over, and he seemed like he saw the table, but he was completely avoiding. Like, you could see him kind of like looking past us and like just avoiding it. And so I'm like, okay, this is weird. And when he finally came to the table, he acted like nothing was wrong, and I think at one point he was starting to like, I don't know if he was having like an anxiety attack or if he was just like panicking, but he started to sing songs to himself. Do you remember that? He was like, oh, it's okay, we're gonna be okay, and singing, and I'm looking at him like, you've got to be fucking kidding me right now. Like, he was cracking right in front of our eyes, and I'm like, holy shit. And after he had like dropped off like our ingredients for it, didn't ever like come back over or anything, was just avoiding us like the plague, because I guess, I mean, it had been a long day, whatever, but, and you could see that he was like cracking for sure, but like at the end of it, it was so long ago, I can't remember exactly like how the rest of the night went, but I just know it was terrible, and that was the only time that I've given like $1.
And we had to talk back and forth, and we felt like shit about it. Mm-hmm. Like, it was not like...
It was so bad. Yeah. And then I got sick after.
Yeah.
Like,
shit. Just lots of shit.
Robert! Oh my... There's like so many people watching this right now. I'm like, great. Sick.
Alright, so now that we've talked about that shitty situation...
I have no comment. Absolutely no comment.
We're gonna move on to how tipping actually works and how we make our money at the end of the night.
Yeah, so, I mean, personally, in my restaurant, the way that our tipping system works is that we have to tip out 4% of our sales to our, like, they call our server assistants and bartenders and food runners. So if the check is $100, I have to tip out 4% of that $100.
Yeah, so at my restaurant, we have to tip out the bussers and the servers and all that stuff too. I'm not really going to get into the numbers. But so how this works is, you come in, you sit down, you eat, you drink, and depending on your food sales or depending on your drink sales all of that gets accounted for, and people have to be paid based off of that. Because the bartender who is making the drink for you guys to drink has to be paid, and the person who's cleaning off your table afterwards has to be paid, just because we can't do everything. So the issue with the whole tipping thing is that when you come in and you don't tip, it not only like hurts us in terms of, oh man, fuck, we don't have money for that table. We have to tip out other people off of the, like, based on what you guys ate and drank.
Yeah, so for example, if you were to come in and spend $100 and then tip me $20, I would actually only receive 16% of the tip, because I would have to tip out that 4%, you know. So if it's $100 check and you tip me $20, I only get 16 from it, you know, because I have to tip out.
Yeah, for sure. So what we're saying is, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
You know?
And we're not like, I don't want to like sound like we're telling you what to do or anything, but I just think that a lot of people were uneducated in like how it works, and we're not saying that like you should tip if you get bad service or anything like that. Like, no, like they should do their job right, and they should give you good service, because, you know, you're coming there for a service, and you don't owe them that. Do you know what I mean? But like, if someone is like giving you good service, like, don't be a dick and like not tip them, you know? Like, that's their livelihood. It's none of your, and it's none of your business to be like, oh, why did you choose that job? Why did you choose your job? Like, why would you, you know, why would you ask someone that? That's not appropriate.
Yeah, for sure. And now I personally want to move on to like servers and like shit like that. So servers, this message is going to be directly to you guys, because there's a lot of us who watch us who are servers. We just have to understand that like when a table walks in and you place judgment, you are already perceiving how that, you know, interaction is going to go. So I'm going to use the example because I'm black. Like, it even happens to me too. It's just something that you usually just get so wrapped into. You see a black table come in and you're like, shit, because you feel like automatically they're going to complain. They're not going to tip you. It's going to be an issue. Yeah. And we as servers have to get better at not doing that. Because I got news for y'all. Black people ain't the only shit that's like ghetto. Like, I hate the word ghetto and how it's associated with black people, because that's not the case. There's trash in every type of race. Yeah. So the fact that like you might see a white person or a Spanish person or whoever,
they might not tip you too.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta treat everyone equally, you know, because like there's been instances where I've been like, yo, fuck, I'm not gonna get a tip, and then they tip me more than I expect, you know, and it's just not fair for us to like put that judgment on someone when they haven't done anything to you, you know. Then it's like they're gonna face that prejudice everywhere that they go, you know. Like, it's very wrong of people to see a table and be like, oh my god, like, great, you know, because I'm like, that's literally prejudice.
When you have that attitude going into it, you're going to give shitty service. Exactly. Why? Because you already expect to not get a tip, and you're like, you know, I think that these people are, you know, this type of way, and they're not going to tip me, so you know what, I'm not even going to try.
I know, and it's such a vicious cycle, because some people will like see a table that they think is not going to tip them, and then they'll in turn give shitty service and then get a shitty tip, and it's like, oh yeah, of course they didn't tip me, but it's like, you gave them bad service, so that's why they didn't tip you. You can only be upset about it if you really tried your hardest and you gave them good service and they still didn't tip you, you know what I mean? But if you go into it giving them bad service and then you get a shitty tip, that's exactly what you deserve, so don't get surprised.
Yeah, for sure. And this goes into, like, when I go out to eat, I'll go out to eat, and it'll be times where it's just me and Brittany, and I might get, like, shitty food, or, like, the way I ordered something and it didn't come out the way that I asked for it to come out. For sure. And I won't send it back. And people will be like, yo, what the fuck? What you mean you're not sending it back? You just paying your hard-earned money, you should send it back. And I'm like, what's going through my head is hey, I send the food back, and my server's now like, well, of course, it's the black guy at the fucking table. Of course he's going to send his food back. Why not? And guess what? He's not going to tip me. And then guess what? It starts that cycle again. It's that vicious cycle. So what do? I tip 20% damn near every time. Even if it is shitty service, even if I don't get what I want. Just to prove a point. Because there needs to be people out there to do that. Like, we need to break that stereotype. Yeah. And I feel like, at the same time, black people, I need y'all to step up too. Because I don't know when we all got together and decided that $5 was sufficient for every fucking tab.
Oh my gosh.
$5 is not sufficient.
I had a table. I'm not gonna name who this celebrity was, but a celebrity came in, and it was my friend and I on the table, and they didn't have a reservation, and they walked in with I think 17 people, and it was like a Sunday, so it was like not that many servers were on, and they took up how many tables? They took up four tables for their entire party, and they had like all these specific instructions, and we're like, okay. And then so the check was $1,000. It was $1,000 check, and I think they tipped us $70. So that means that 10% of $1,000 would have been $100. So that means they tipped us under 10%, and we already have to tip about 4% of that. So we got tipped, like, I don't even know. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at math. But what is that, like, I don't even know, like 6% or something like that? And mind you, we're sharing the table, so we had to split that money in half. So we only ended up making like $20 off the table for 17 people.
I'm just over here shook because
it was
$1,000 for a tab is a lot.
Yeah.
And that's how much I'll sell in like a night. So that like her I'm not on the same status as her when it comes down to serving, but we're just trying to explain to you guys, like, you know,
it's besides the point.
Yeah, it's definitely besides the point. It's just the fact that like we just have to try to do better both ways. But this is not just in the service industry. It's just everywhere. So, like, while we're, like, bitching, we're just saying customer service in general. I personally think that everybody needs to work a customer service job just so that you can see how people really are. Because people be acting a goddamn fool.
Terrible.
People act a goddamn fool. I mean, I've done customer service pretty much my whole entire life.
Me too. Every single job I've ever had.
Yeah, for sure. I've gone from, like, being a dishwasher, which is shit.
Started from the bottom.
Shit. Like, if you're washing dishes and people are just throwing that shit back there and, like you know,
really rude,
you just have to be kind, man. Like, that's all we're saying is, like, be kind. Spread positivity. Don't be a dick, because that energy is passed on to somebody else. Because you guys came in and you were an asshole to me, I'm an asshole to my coworkers. And my coworkers are like, damn.
It's a chain reaction.
Yeah, damn, what did I do? I mean, I can say I'm sorry to all you guys out there, because I know some of you guys work with me, and they're like, that guy can be a dick.
He get real mad. real mad.
It's just that at the same time, like, when I'm talking to all my tables, I'm getting paid to have, like, small talk, have small conversations. Me personally, I don't like fucking small talk.
Me either.
Get
I
deep.
hate talking.
If we're talking and it's not deep, I don't want to do it. So
I know.
I'm just like, I need to have stimulating conversation, but guess what? Those people are paying for your time. They're paying for your service.
That's exactly what it is.
And I just want you guys to, like, keep all this in mind next time you go out to lie down. You know, we just want to change the world a little bit, you know? Make the world a kinder place.
Just, like, make some type of education known about how tipping works, and, like, just to know that, like, just the whole point of this conversation is just to treat each other with kindness, and, like, realize that your server is also a person, and they also have bills to pay, and we aren't doing this for free, you know? We're trying to do the best that we can. Like, just be nice. Jesus Christ. Like, if your server comes with the table, say hello to them.
Be kind.
Be
just
kind.
Be
that
nice.
goes so, like, long. Like, you'll probably end up getting, like, better service from us, and a lot of times, if I like my tables, I'm getting them a lot of free shit.
Hell yeah, I'm doing everything I can to make sure that you have a great experience. Just because, like, you went out of your way to make sure that my night was well, so I'm going to go out of my way and make sure your night's well.
Exactly. It's like a mutual respect. It's a mutual understanding, you know? Like, tip your servers. Servers, don't fuck around and judge your tables or give them bad service. Like, you know...
Do your job.
Yeah.
Everybody just do your job, do your part, and I feel like everything will work out the way that it's supposed to work out. A lot of us are, you know, going to school. We're trying to, like, pay off college. Like, this is not our main dream. You know, nobody dreams to be a server. So I think that, like, the fact that we're here and somebody has to do the job. Otherwise, you can just go to the drive-thru. Somebody has to do it. Like, that's the thing that people don't have to understand, is that if you want to be served, somebody has to serve you. So just, like, the bottom line, be kind.
Yeah, and I wanted to, like, actually ask you, so I was, like, talking to my friend Kat about this earlier, and she was saying, I'm not sure I wanted to see if you felt the same way, but now that we are servers and whatever, when you go out or when you come into your restaurant, you feel the need to tip excessively.
Hell, I just, like I said previously,
Excessively.
I feel the need to tip excessively, not only because I'm a server, but because I'm a black guy, and, I already fit that prejudice, and, just the fact that we're younger, too.
Yeah.
Like, that also fits into it. There's so many factors that goes into it, but the fact is that we know how hard it is, so the only person
so we end
who
up
can
tipping
support
like
us,
40% and stuff like that. Like, every time that I go out, I feel like I'll get, for average service, I'll give 20%. Like, if you give me good service, I'm tipping you more than that, because I feel like 20% is enough. And it just sucks because it's because we're servers that we feel that way. But what that does, like, is in turn, when you go out and you are spending a lot of money and then you end up tipping like 40-50%, whatever, you end up not having any money.
It's just the fact that, that extra $1 or $2, it might not be a big deal to, you guys, but, it could change somebody's night.
Yeah.
And it could make somebody, smile, make somebody happy,
For sure, I love that. When, you give someone a good tip because they did well and, you can see that they're happy about it.
Yeah, for sure. You can even,
that's so cute.
You can even be, a shitty server. You have a great attitude, and we're laughing and we're joking. You can fuck my shit up.
There's someone that I work with, where she's, not that great of a server, but she connects with her tables really well, and she'll mess up, forgetting to bring their food in, and it'll be a while before she realizes, and she'll just talk to them about it, and they'll forgive her, and we're all like, how the hell did you just recover that? But I'm like, it's all about the way that you talk to people and treat people, because at the end of the day, your interaction with them is gonna not mean more than what the food tastes like, but it's a big part of it. You can make someone's night by having a really good conversation with them, or treating them really well, because not that people come in to have a therapy session when they're trying to dine, but sometimes people need to talk. Yeah. And I know that for every table that I've ever had, they're open to talking. They're like, oh, you open the door to talking? They're like, so I have this issue, and your interaction with your tables is super important. So just be mindful of that too.
Yeah, people just come in and they want to be supported. It's an interaction. That's the main thing. And then once it's a positive thing, they feel like, hey, this kid's cool. I know this kid. I don't want him to, have no money. It's just
you'll get better tips if you connect with your tables, for sure. So be nice, servers.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I feel like we beat that subject with a goddamn broom.
Most definitely.
I think that the message has been received. At this point, we're going to move on to our next segment, to those dry-ass DMs that we got. We only got 3, but we got something,
that's good, right?
We got something. It's only the first episode. So we're going to go ahead and, give you guys some advice. Help you guys out in your tough situations,
be a little bit willing. Okay, so we got 3 messages. And some of them have names, some of them are anonymous.
We don't care, just write us, okay? You can be anonymous, you can be Becky with the good hair. We don't
Becky
give a fuck.
with the good hair. Alright, I want to read this one. So, Lisa says, hey guys, so I met this guy last December and I'm recently going through a divorce and I'm not looking for anything, but he is. We're older and he's never been married, so he's very anxious to meet his life partner. I've made it very clear that I'm not interested in that we can be friends, but he's so persistent about dating. I really don't see myself ever dating him, but he's honestly not as intelligent and not as intelligent and experienced in life as I would like. LOL. We have a good conversation and I enjoy talking, but he won't seem to let go of the idea of dating. What do I do? Much love, Lisa.
Ooh, sounds like Lisa's trying to put somebody in the friend zone. I have experience with this.
Well then.
I think that Lisa needs to be very clear with what her intentions are. So when I say that, I just think that as a guy, how do I say this? So when you're approaching,
don't stop is what he's trying to say.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you approach a girl and they're like, oh yeah, no. Some girls like to be chased.
Oh.
So I think it's if you're not very clear, unless somebody's like, hey, yo, get it, I'm not into you. There's no part of me that's going to be dating you. And for some reason girls are like, no, that's too mean. I don't have patient like that. I'm like, if you're not blatantly coming out and saying what you mean, you can't leave it up to a guy to interpret, because we will do it the wrong way 9 times out of 10.
For sure. Well, what I've learned with my experience with men is that if you don't tell him straight up that you're not interested and you're never going to be interested, he's not going to understand. You can't just be like, oh, right now I'm not looking for anything because I got a divorce or anything like that. No. You got to tell him, I don't like you, and it's not gonna work because men will try and try and try. Right? You know what I'm
For
saying?
me, as a guy, I'm like, don't waste my time either. Because obviously this man, is looking for something serious. And he's older, so he's looking for that marriage. So I think that if you feel like this is a nice guy and you feel like you can be friends with him, you owe him the respect to be like, hey, I don't see this going anywhere. I think that, you should find somebody else. My legs are closed and they're not going to open no time soon.
And at that point, I feel like if he can't understand that you're not interested and you've made it clear to him, then maybe you don't need to be friends. Because I feel like, in my experience, once a guy has their sights set on you and that they want to date you, that's all that they want. You know what I mean? They're not going to, settle for being friends or, whatever. If they want to date you, they're going to keep trying to date you, so...
Yeah, for sure.
Not everyone can switch back from that,
Yeah, as a guy, I have a lot of friends. So if I'm going after a girl and she's like, "Oh, I'm trying to be friends," nigga, I don't need no more friends. Not to be disrespectful or anything, but
guys are not interested in being friends.
If I'm going after you in that way, and you know that it's in that way, then I started this with the intention of it being that way. I'm not here to be friends. If I wanted to be your friend, you would know because I would go after you in a friendly way.
Yeah. And especially if she's been married and he hasn't and they're older, it's kind of like, it's a different mindset with it. I feel like after a divorce, you can become very jaded, And so he might just be like, oh, wow, relationships seem so great. And she might be like, oh my God, relationships are so terrible. They don't work out. I'm getting a divorce,
Yeah, for sure. Either way, I'm just like, Lisa... As long as your intentions were 100% and the message was clear and you know that it was received, and for some reason you're not getting what you want out of it, then you have the right to end it. But at the same time...
Yeah, it's not your responsibility to, continue to be friends with him if you told him that, hey, I'm not into this at all.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you let him know, hey, that's not what I want, blah, 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 and he decides, hey, I don't want to be your friend... Then at the same time,
okay.
you can't be mad at him for that too, because
no, for sure.
Yeah, you lost a good friend, but at the same time, that's not what he wanted. And
exactly.
The bottom line is that everybody has a right to make a decision of what they want while walking into something.
All parties in a relationship or a friendship or anything need to be happy. It can't just be one-sided where it's I'm only doing this because this is what she wants, or I don't get what I want because you want something else. It has to be you get what you want and I get what we want, and if not, then we shouldn't be in this because then it turns into an unhealthy friendship or unhealthy relationship. It has to be mutual.
Yeah. So Lisa, thank you so much for writing into
Thanks,
us.
Lisa.
If you have any updates on the situation, let us know what the fuck is going on.
Please let us know how this ends.
We nosy. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next one.
Here, do you want to read this one?
Yeah, for sure. So this one does not have a name. You're trying to be sneaky. I see you. Just ran across you guys on Instagram. I know that in your first episode you mentioned being in nursing school. How do you balance doing the podcast and being in school? Do you work?
Here's where things get a little bit sticky.
This is a great question. So,
Thanks.
Nursing school is on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And you're like, oh, that's only 3 days. That sounds fine. So Mondays and Wednesdays is from 9 o'clock to 12:30. And then on Thursday, here's the fucking picture. On Thursday, we have lab in our clinical from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
10 hours.
10 motherfucking hours.
Yeah. And they're not playing either. It's not okay, well, we're going to get at 3 today. No, motherfucker. They are waiting for 6 o'clock. They see 6 o'clock and they're like, all right, well, I guess we have to let you guys go now.
And then even on the days that are shorter days, they assign so many chapters. So we'll have 3 or 4 chapters. Each chapters are 60 pages. So bottom line is, what we're saying is, it's a lot of work. It's definitely a lot of work.
We don't have time for anything.
And we don't have time for friends and our social life. Or
literally no social life.
To do anything. So,
no. Especially with starting the podcast. So all our time has been dedicated to is when you get out of class, you start reading. You read till you go to sleep. And then we have to pick out a day to record and edit. And then we might have one day where we're able to hang out with someone. And it's not all day. So it's you don't really have a social life. And then I only work 1 to 2 days a week now that I started school and have the podcast, because I'm just I have other things to do besides work.
For sure. And what we're trying to get across is that like it's been hard. It's been
so hard. I'm exhausted.
The main point is time management. Whenever you want something, you go out there and you get it. So even though you feel like you might not have the time and that it's so hard and blah 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 blah, you do have the time. It's just that you might have to cut out the amount of sleep that you get.
You gotta make the time.
Yeah, cut down with hanging out with friends. Like you just have to make sure that if this is a priority and it's something that you want, that you make that time for it, because nobody else is going to do it for you.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to record for us. Nobody's going to edit for us.
Yeah.
I mean, they can, but we ain't got no money because we broke. But
that nursing school.
we just like really make sure that this is something that we decided that we wanted to do and that it was a priority for us. And at the same time, this is a stress reliever. Like, believe it or not, this might be work or whatever. But at the same time, being able to sit down.
Yeah, we're just talking. Like, this is conversation that we would have by ourselves, but now we're just recording it and having it with you guys, you know? So it's definitely, like, just something relaxing. Because, I mean, after we do this, we're going to be, like, studying like crazy. So, I mean, like, this is a good, nice hour for us to, like, breathe and talk and, like, just laugh.
Where
because we're going to be crying after this the entire time.
Yeah, don't have to think about how depressing our life is and all the shit that we have to do and how backed up we are and all that shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're really happy that, you guys are even tuning in and listening to us because, like I said, we're doing this a lot for us because I need a therapist and we all need a therapist.
He's like, here, let me get the tissues out.
So, bottom line is, if you want something, make it happen. Like, go out there and make it happen. And nothing's impossible. We thought starting this was impossible, and we're here. The fact that we're sitting here on this couch, on the mic, talking to you guys is still mind-blowing.
We started this at the same exact time that we started nursing school, the same week.
Dumb.
And
we're fucking dumb.
We're dumb, but I feel like it's very ambitious of us, and I'm proud of us because we have made good grades, and we have made the time to produce these videos and these different podcast sessions that we have, and it's not easy, and we don't sleep a lot, and we're exhausted, but we're making it work.
All the time.
Like I had a headache from I had a headache from 4 p.m. all the way to like 2 a.m. because I'm just tired, and like what keeps me going is like seeing the response that we're getting on it and seeing all the feedback and that people are enjoying it, and if you guys are happy, we're happy, and it makes it worth it to us, you know?
For sure. So what's our last question, and our last question, because our DMs were dry, so please reach out.
Slide in, and we're not going to say your name on camera if you don't want us to, we're not going to like expose your business or anything like that. And if you want to like send us an email, like making it anonymous, like it's more anonymous than like Instagram, like go ahead and do that too, you know what I'm saying?
All we're saying is that we do this for you guys, so make sure that you are reaching out and communicating, because without this communication,
it's a mutual relationship.
It's just dry, and I feel like you leave me on red. Don't leave me on red.
Don't leave me on red, baby.
Alright.
Okay, our last question says, hey guys, I have a question. This girl and I have been friends for years, but lately she went through a bad breakup and I think she's having a difficult time getting past it, and she denies it and acts like she's over it. We have been arguing a lot and she doubts everything I say. Other people have been telling me she's toxic and I should cut her out of my life. I kind of feel bad, but she's making it hard to be friends with her. Help. And this is coming from Roxanne.
Hey, Roxanne. So, Roxanne, it sounds like you may have gotten yourself into a toxic situation. It's definitely not on your part, but I think it's definitely on your friend's part. After coming out of a breakup, people go into like dark places, and it can be hard. Like you have two choices. You can either be there for her and like put up with the bullshit because that's one of your good friends, or you can decide this is too much for me. And I feel like sometimes people don't put themselves first, and you put yourself in that position to be in that toxic place, and that's not good, not only for your own mental health, but hers.
I think that she needs to like really think about her friendship and how much this person means to her, and then decide if it's worth it or not to put in that effort. Because if this is someone that really means a lot to you and you want to see like stick around in your life, then you have to understand that she's going through a hard time and she needs you to be there, and she may not be acting in herself because she's struggling internally. So I feel like if as her friend, it's your job to help her through that time and not just to cut her off. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you might be one of the only people that she feels like she can really, like, talk to about it. And, like, of course you shouldn't stay in a toxic, like, relationship or friendship or anything like that, but at the same time, if someone needs you, you shouldn't turn away from them. Like, I'm just not like that. You know what I mean? Like, my friends are my friends, and, like, I'm not going anywhere. And I've had friends that, like, Robert seeing me, like, not talk to and then talk to and stuff, and will always, like, rekindle the friendship unless you do something really bad, because, you know, they're in your life for a reason, and my friends mean something to me. Like, I don't have a lot of friends. I'm not super social, so I'm not gonna, like, cut people out of my life. What the fuck? That's, like, his thing, you know? I'm, like, not into that.
Hand, I am the guy who is cutting me the fuck out of my life.
He's like, snip, 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 snip. He's like, please give me a reason.
I just feel like my time and the people that I hang out with is very valuable. So for some reason, I feel like you are taking advantage of that, and I feel like you are not putting in the amount that I need to be satisfied, because it's a two-way street. So if you're not putting out, like, you know, the amount of, like, effort that I'm putting into it, that I feel like I'm being used. Mm-hmm. And once I feel that, I can't take it away. Like, it's in my mind, and that's where it's at. And when you said that, like, you feel like it's your job, I feel like that's a very touchy thing. Just because, like, there are certain people who have toxic relationships and then stay in them and want to come to you at 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God, he did this again. Oh my God, he did that again.
He cheated on me for the 7th time.
He called Becky and I told him not to, and I went to, like, at that point, you can only give somebody advice so much before they decide not to take it. Yeah. So don't be calling my phone at 7 o'clock in the morning talking about all this bullshit that you can say the same thing only so many times. So at that point, I feel like it's not my job. I feel like I've done my job by giving you my advice, telling you how I feel on the situation. And if you decide not to listen, bitch, you on your own.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so, I mean, she says that she feels like her friend is denying it. And saying that she's over it. And I'm like, I don't know how long that, you know, she's been broken up with this person, but maybe she just needs a little bit of time to, like, really come to terms with the breakup and realize that it's over, and, you know, she might snap back. And I think maybe, I don't know if you already have or not, but you should bring it up as a conversation to be like, hey, I feel like since the breakup happened, you've been, you know, behaving differently, and I feel like this is getting toxic. You need to verbalize, because I feel like if you haven't had that conversation with her to be like, hey, I think that you're being unhealthy, you can just cut her off. Like, that's just not fair, you know? Like, give her an opportunity to understand where you're coming from and decide to make a change or not decide to make a change. And then if you've had that conversation with her and then she doesn't change anything, then at that point, I feel like that's okay for you to cut her out of your life, because you gave her an opportunity and you're trying to be there for her, you know?
Yeah, I definitely feel like communication. Don't just cut off. Communication is the key to a, you know,
healthy relationship, friendship, everything.
Yeah, for sure. And if this is something that's been going on for a long time and you've been communicating yourself over and over and over again, then you have the right, at the end of the day, to be honest, at the end of the day, you have the right to do whatever the fuck you want to do. Like, we're just here.
We're just mean as hell.
We're just here to give you advice, but at the same time, I'm not going to blame you for what you do, just because I have been in that situation, and sometimes you just fed up and you had enough. And nobody's saying that you need to be there. That's what I don't want it to be, is that, like, oh my gosh, she has nobody else, I'm her only friend. Yeah. That's
maybe just problem. Like separate yourself a little bit. Like, you don't need to cut her out of your life per se, but maybe just like take a step back from the friendship and like spend some time apart and just, you know, let her be, let her feel what she needs to feel, you know, let her cope with the loss of a relationship. Because, like, you know, depending on how deep your relationship is, that can feel like a loss, like a death, you know? You can mourn that relationship, so it's not anyone's job to tell her how to grieve.
Yeah, I mean...
oh my gosh, here Robert goes.
That was just real dramatic for me. Oh my god, it's a death.
Robert doesn't date people. He's never, like, been through a breakup like that, so he doesn't understand, so he's very insensitive.
I guess. I'm a very emotionally stable person.
Oh my god.
So...
No. AKA, Robert just cuts people out. If he doesn't like something, he's not going to talk about it with you. He's just going to cut them out.
I mean, I'll give you the chance, you know, real quick. But then at the same time, like, time is money, baby.
Oh my god.
Time is fucking money.
Oh my god.
Anyway, that's going to be the end of our segment known as the listener letters or viewer's choice or whatever the fuck. You guys comment and let us know what you think the name of the segment should be.
There's no name to this segment yet. I guess we'll figure it out later. But
yeah, we are a new process. This is a new podcast. Everything is building. We're learning every goddamn day. Every time we push record on this mic, we learn something new. And you guys have been here with us to grow, and we just want to show our goddamn appreciation that there are actually people out there listening. We thought that we were going to be a figly flop. So the fact that there's 5 of you, more or less 50, is insane, and we're just trying to keep growing, keep getting out there, keep
making videos, keep talking shit, giving advice, all that. But yeah, I think this wraps up this week's episode of RNB. Of course, you can find us on all our social media accounts. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at @theofficial_RNB. You can find us on YouTube at RNB Podcast. And we are now on Spotify and all of these different, I don't even know what they're called, platforms. Sorry, I'm like drawing
all these different platforms. I mean,
we're almost on iTunes too.
We are waiting for iTunes to come through. So we see you, iTunes, and we need you to come through.
I'm like, ooh.
We are so happy once again that we are able to do this and that you guys are actually listening to us.
Yeah,
but I mean, we definitely need them DMs and them emails because we want to interact. So just make sure that you guys are there. And the more that you fucking interact, the more we interact.
And our email is theofficialrnbpodcast@gmail.com, so hit us up.
Yes. Our personal social media, my Instagram is Rob Bates, so that's ROBBATESS. 2 B's, 2 S's.
And mine is BRVTT, that's Brit with a V.
So until next time, we are RNB Podcast, and we'll see you later.
Peace out.
Yeet.